And first at 5, multiple agencies are now joining the search for Fox 12's Most Wanted. The suspect is accused of shooting 2 police officers in Northeast Portland. It's been 3 days since that shooting, and Portland police are still asking the public for any new information or security camera footage from Monday night. Police just released these additional photos of the suspect. He is described as a white man in his 30s with a beard. They say he could be armed with a knife and a handgun. This image was taken from the officer's body camera. If you recognize this man, you're asked to call police. Fox 12's Spencer Schott is following this story and this ongoing investigation. So, Spencer, now there is a cash reward for information. Tell us about that.
That's right, Pete. Crime Stoppers is offering $2,500 for anyone who provides information that leads to the arrest. And for the agencies that are investigating, it is all hands on deck. Just today, when we were walking around this neighborhood, we saw at least 20 officers from multiple different agencies, including the Portland Police Bureau and the ATF. And they're going door to door, asking neighbors if they were home Monday night and if they have security footage. Days after 2 officers were shot in the Sullivan Gulch neighborhood in Northeast Portland, officers are still canvassing the neighborhood, going door to door, asking neighbors if they saw anything Monday night or if they recognize this man.
2 policemen asking us questions, and then the policemen were just asking us if we knew if we knew anything, had seen anything.
Kevin Walsh lives in the neighborhood and works at the Grace Memorial Episcopal Church, and he's combed through the church's security cameras but didn't find any clues.
And they already had met with our parish manager and looked at whatever he had.
Police and the ATF have expanded their search out blocks away from where the shooting happened. One neighbor, who didn't want to go on camera, says he had multiple officers check his security camera footage.
A couple of officers did stop yesterday. There was nothing that appeared in the video that got the officers' attention or interest.
But police say the investigation is not limited to just this neighborhood.
And it's important that people don't necessarily assume that because their information is not in Portland or not local, that it might not be relevant. I mean, he might be, on his way somewhere else right now.
But for the folks who live in Sullivan's Gulch, they understand the increased patrols in their neighborhood and are hopeful that the suspect gets caught soon.
I mean, it was one of their own. They put their lives on the line for us all the time, and this is how they can, make sure that we're safe and they're safe.
Now, we reached out to PPB today for an update on those officers' condition. We know that one officer has been released from the hospital while the other is still being treated, but PPB is not identifying either of those officers at this time. Reporting live in Northeast Portland, Spencer Schott, Fox 12 Oregon.
Spencer, we appreciate the update. Thank you.